plane tickets? You're not gonna convince me that some girl working is not gonna call an airline and put your name on some tickets and sit there and change the ticket 3 times if she has not been told that you're actually gonna show up. That didn't happen.
And they end up having sex in your car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that true, Ms. Davenport?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that true, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
But that was her stipulation. He couldn't. She texted his phone and told him.
No, I was just trying to be a stand-up guy at the end of the day.
Oh, you was trying to be a stand-up guy.
Me and Mr. Bailey been sleeping together 8 years. We're not gonna stop. My daughter looks like this man.
No, she doesn't. But the simple fact of the matter is, she told my wife that she had multiple
See,
partners.
wait a minute, this woman ain't never had a conversation.
Ms. Smith,
until I told her that she was just my baby daddy.
Ms. Smith.
Wow, this was one heck of a start. Mr. Taylor kicks things off by telling the court how Ms. Jackson hit him with a bombshell while she was 9 months pregnant. She first said he might not be the dad of her baby, Raymond, but then changed her mind and claimed he actually was the father. And now, he's here to figure out what's going on. Spoiler alert, this drama is just getting warmed up.
Mr. Taylor, you say your fiancée, Ms. Jackson, dropped a bombshell on you when she was 9 months pregnant and told you that you may not be her child's father. And while you're hoping he's yours, you're here today to prove that Raymond is not your biological child.
No.
The drama level went from 0 to 100 real quick. Mr. Taylor pours his heart out, saying he's been there for Raymond from day one, acting like a dad in every way. But now, he's worried that if the DNA test says Raymond's not his, he's walking out of court as a single man. It's like watching a soap opera live, and trust me, the emotions are only about to get messier.
Do everything for this child. And the only thing that I do know is that if this child ain't mine, I'll be walking out this courtroom today a single man.
You all are engaged. You have a family together. So there is a lot at stake here.
Yes, Your Honor.
In your opinion, do you believe he has a right to doubt this?
Yes, I do, Your Honor, because I gave him the right to doubt it, but I feel that he knows how much I care for him.
Okay, things just got wild. Ms. Jackson admits she hooked up with Mr. Green after meeting him in a shelter. She said Mr. Taylor left her stranded when he ran off to Atlanta, so she turned to Mr. Green for comfort. This story is getting complicated fast, and it's only a matter of time before it all blows up.
A few years ago, we just packed up and we moved to Florida for a fresh start. I met Mr. Green, a shelter. We ended up becoming intimate, but Mr. Taylor left me and my children stranded in Florida while he went away to, I guess, chase his dreams, knowing that we had nobody and knowing that we had nothing.
And here's where things get even crazier. Mr. Taylor drops the bomb that Ms. Jackson slept with Mr. Green just 3 days after he left for Atlanta. He's pointing out dates, saying she got pregnant real quick after he left, but she's denying it happened that fast. Oh man, you know it's about to get real messy when people start arguing about dates and times.
A few weeks.
3 days later, she was pregnant by October 12th. I left September 14th. That was less than a month.
No,
That's a lie.
If he would have never left us there in the first place, this whole situation could have been avoided. If he would have just been a man about the situation, be a man about the situation.
He have no money.
Leave a message and say, I'm going to go.
Hold on.
Money.
Let's get some order.
Wait, what? Mr. Taylor says he found out about Ms. Jackson's pregnancy from some random dude on Facebook. Apparently, the guy messaged him, telling him she might be pregnant by Mr. Green. Taylor confronts her about it, and now everything is out in the open. But seriously, who finds out they might not be the dad from Facebook? Only in paternity court, folks.
Well, a guy that was on Facebook, he inboxed me, basically telling me that LaJoy was pregnant by Mr. Green. That was my first time even hearing about it. I confronted her.
You've been talking to her on the phone?
Yes.
And she's never mentioned I'm pregnant?
No, but I confronted her about it.
We didn't have a lot of contact with each other.
Yes,
I was still having a lot of, emotional depression over our relationship.
Facebook contact saying it was Umar Jr. though.
Oh, and just when you thought it couldn't get any juicier, Mr. Green strolls into the courtroom. He confirms that, yep, he and Ms. Jackson did have a thing while she was staying in the shelter. According to him, she told him Mr. Taylor ditched her for a rap career. Yep, you heard that right, a rap career, and Mr. Green felt sorry for her. This just keeps getting better and better.
I guess I met her in the shelter, and when I met her, she told me that he had left her for a rap career in Atlanta, just left and didn't want nothing to do with her, had nothing to do with her, didn't want to take care of the kids. So I sat there and I felt bad, we vibed, and then I was going through stuff with my baby mom at that time. Then it got to a physical level. When we left the shelter, I got my place, my condo, two-bedroom bathroom by myself. I got that.
Oh snap, Ms. Jackson just dropped the truth bomb. She's not sure who the baby's father is because, well, she slept with both of them. Yeah, you heard that right. She was telling both guys they were the dad, but now she's admitting she doesn't really know. This is the kind of confession that leaves everyone in the room staring at each other like, did she just say that? that?
Your Honor, I don't know which one is the father because I had sex with both of them.
Thank you. Just to tell the truth. So the bottom line is you really don't know. You told him he was the father. You messaging him as well. That's the truth.
But
you signed the birth certificate?
No, I didn't. Glad I was away from me not to sign it because I probably would have signed it and probably would have paid child support.
But now, Mr. Taylor, you have stepped up to the plate.
And here comes the moment of truth. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. The DNA results come in and boom.
It has been determined by this court. His biological father is Mr. Green.
I figured.
This part was a total roller coaster. Ms. Rice shows up in court to prove that Mr. DeBaca is the dad of her unborn baby. She says he's a cheater who even posted ads looking for new girlfriends while she was pregnant. On top of that, she wants $750 for plane tickets and money she lent him. And just when you think that's crazy, wait until you hear what Mr. DeBaca has to say.
Ms. Rice, you are appearing in court to prove the defendant, Mr. DeBaca, is the father of your unborn baby. You claim he has denied paternity. In addition to the paternity suit, you were also asking the court to award you $750 for plane tickets and a loan to Mr. DeBaca.
Yes.
Things started getting awkward real fast. The court finds out that Ms. Rice and Mr. DeBaca met through an online ad, and he claims they were only friends with benefits. But Ms. Rice thought they were headed towards a real relationship, even though they were already living together. If you think that sounds confusing, just wait, it gets weirder.
It began about a year and a half ago. I responded to an ad on the internet. He was looking for friends. I went over to his house. We started hanging out, asked me to have sex with him, and he kept asking me and asking me, and I told him, no, I do not sleep with guys on the first night, and I said that way more than once.
She gave in to it.
I finally gave in.
She's not an adult. She just happened to just give in to my saying.
Ended up having sex.
Yes.
The drama here just kept coming. Mr. DeBaca says he's not sure the baby is his because Ms. Rice had a lot of guy friends and had supposedly been pregnant after their breakups before. He says every time they broke up, she'd call him a couple of weeks later with pregnancy news. If you're scratching your head, trust me, this story's only going to get more complicated from here.
It seems every 5 minutes I talk to her or we break up, she's pregnant. She wants to call me a couple weeks later and tell me she's pregnant. Every time that it happens, she's trying to trap me into it, so I'm
not trying to trap you. Maybe if you'd own up to what you're doing.
And the reason I left, because she was texting guys telling them to come over, and her friend, her roommate, went off to this army base. They're the only two girls there.
If you thought the last bit was messy, hang on. Ms. Rice calls out Mr. DeBaca for using her phone to post online dating ads, sneaking out to take photos to post for other girls. He admits he did it, but says it was all revenge because she texted other guys. Yeah, you heard that right. Revenge posting. But now, the real question, how much money did all of this cost?
When I was over there, I was looking through her phone, and she had a picture of someone dude's in her phone. Wasn't my, I have tattoos on my life.
How many times do you need to say?
So I'm just saying,
He needs
that's
to
how
say
I.
it so he can.
No, that's
so
how
he
I
can
knew. No, I'm just
sure
saying.
That he has it down crystal clear.
Okay, so you saw, that's one doubt. You saw the picture.
Yeah.
Money fights are always wild, but this one, wow. Ms. Rice says she spent $750 on plane tickets and loans for Mr. DeBaca, but he says he didn't owe her anything. He even questions why she sent him the money in the first place. The judge has to figure out if this was a gift or a loan, but trust me, you'll want to hear what happens next with this back and forth.
How much did the plane tickets total? $100 plus $50 in the change fee. And you say your suit is for $750. Where's the other $500 come from?
The other $500 comes from borrowed money. I'd send him $100 here, $60 there.
He'd call you and say
here.
what?
Can you send me money? Can you wire me money through Walmart?
No.
I want chocolate. I want juice. I want this. I want that.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting this twist. The judge decides Ms. Rice should get $250 for the plane tickets, but denies the rest of the money claim, saying it was probably a gift because she wanted to keep him around. The judge is pretty much saying, nice try, but no. But hold on, the real bombshell is about to drop when the DNA results come in.
And for that reason, Ms. Rice, I cannot award you the $500 that you say you sent him because I believe it was a gift. As for those plane tickets, you're not gonna convince me that some girl working is not gonna call an airline and put your name on some tickets and sit there and change the ticket 3 times if she has not been told that you're actually gonna show up. That didn't happen.
This is where everyone in the courtroom leaned forward. The DNA test results are in, and it turns out, surprise.
It has been determined that you are the father.
What did I tell you?
Buckle up, because this case is already off the rails from the jump. Mr. Boston claims he is not the biological father of Ms. Murphy's son Tristan, and says he's confused about whether they even had intimate violence. Meanwhile, Ms. Murphy insists he's the dad and wants him to stop lying. Things are just getting started, and it's already a mess.
Mr. Boston, you have dragged the defendant into court today because you say you have undeniable proof that there is no way possible that you are the biological father of the defendant's 10-month-old son, Tristan. Ms. Murphy, you say that that you are tired of Mr. Boston's lies and you want him to stop denying that he's Tristan's father. You believe the DNA results will be your today.
This is where it goes from confusing to downright ridiculous. Mr. Boston starts off by claiming he doesn't remember having intimate violence with Ms. Murphy, but then backtracks, admitting they did with protection. Judge Lake isn't having it, calling out his nonsense, and his story crumbles faster than a cookie in a blender. Stay tuned, because this drama is nowhere near finished.
You know, I don't remember even doing that well.
Lie.
You don't remember having sex with Ms. Murphy?
He's lying. He was at my house all the time, every day, every night in my bed.
I mean, I'm not denying it like that, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so what are you saying? Did you or did you not have a sexual relationship with Ms. Murphy?
I mean, I had, but we had
protection on different occasions.
If you thought things couldn't get crazier, think again. Ms. Murphy spills the tea on how she and Mr. Boston started seeing each other, claiming he was thrilled when she got pregnant. She even says he rubbed her belly like they were all lovey-dovey. But surprise, Mr. Boston says he only found out through a random family member, and suddenly we're in, he said. She said territory. Wait till you hear his logic next. It'll make your head spin.
When I moved to Danville, I bumped into Mr. Boston. We exchanged numbers. After that, he started coming over my house, spending the night. We had sexual encounters. When I first found out I was pregnant, he was happy. He came over to my house. He's like, oh, he rubbed my belly and everything.
In the process of me being over a family member's house. That family member came in the house and told me, well, you know somebody named Teresa? At the time, I didn't know her government name.
Mr. Boston's story takes another wild turn here, and honestly, it's hard to keep up. He says he was tipsy when he first heard about the pregnancy and thought maybe the baby was his, but then sobered up and was like, nah, this ain't my kid. Oh, and he checked the baby for family resemblance, but didn't find any. But trust me, this story's far from over, and the next part is just as nuts.
So I asked out this child. She looking at me, you know, she looking all sour in the face. Why? So I'm like, who's the father of this child? What's going on? She like you. So yeah, in my head, yeah, I got another child on the way, you know. I'm gonna see how this work out. So after that little alcohol ran up off me.
That ain't no excuse.
So when you sobered up, then you realized, uh-oh, this may not be my child.
Exactly.
Just when you think you've seen it all, boom, here comes the next curveball. Ms. Murphy brings out a picture of Mr. Boston holding baby Tristan during a visit to Chicago. Like, look, here's proof. But Mr. Boston's like, yeah, I'm holding him, but I was just trying to see if he looked like me. Spoiler alert, he didn't. You won't believe who shows up next. It's about to get a whole lot messier.
I took a picture. He asked me to take a picture of him and his son and put it on Facebook, and that's what I did.
So what is this a picture of?
Tristan and Mr. Boston.
Were you holding the baby just because, or were you taking a picture with your son?
I wanted to see what part of me is in this child. So long I was, I was patient about the situation, because maybe on down the line as the child get a little older, I would see some part of me in this baby. I still didn't see it.
Enter Mr. Gregory, the other man in this wild story, and things officially hit a new level of chaos. He admits he was with Ms. Murphy, but when she hit him up on Facebook saying she was pregnant, he straight up blocked her. He was like, nope, I'm out of here. And yet, somehow, this doesn't even scratch the surface of the madness coming up.
She texted me on Facebook and told me she was pregnant. I never talked to her again. Like, they did everything, so I blocked her.
You got a message on Facebook that she was potentially pregnant by you and you deleted her?
Blocked it.
He blocked me, Your Honor, because he had went back home to his girlfriend and he thought that I was gonna break up a happy home, which it wasn't nothing like that, because I don't want to break up no happy home. This is about my son.
Just when you think Ms. Murphy couldn't throw any more curveballs, she admits she put Mr. Boston on child support, even though she wasn't sure he was the father. Judge Lake is not amused and calls her out for playing fast and loose with legal stuff. But oh boy, the real jaw-dropping moment is just around the corner, and it's going to change everything.
Ain't nobody did anything for my baby since my son been born. I've been doing everything for my baby. I am a 24/7 mother. My baby deserves to know who his father is. I put Mr. Boston on child support.
You did what?
Let me see that,
I put Mr. Boston on child support.
Why would you arbitrarily choose Mr. Boston and put him on child support when you knew Mr. Gregory could also potentially be a father?
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the DNA results that are about to blow this case wide open.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Boston, you are not the father.
All right, buckle up, because this story is about to get wild. Ms. Mellerson walks into court with a problem. Two different guys, Mr. Williams and Mr. Merritt, might be the dad of her daughter Chelsea. Mr. Williams says at first she told him he wasn't the dad, but now she's changed her tune. Meanwhile, Mr. Merritt is sitting there hoping he's Chelsea's dad. Things are already starting off messy, and trust me, they only get crazier from here.
Because there are two different men who may have fathered your 11-month-old daughter Chelsea. Now, Mr. Williams, you claim the plaintiff initially told you that you were not the father, yet now she claims.
And here comes the drama. Ms. Mellerson spills the tea, saying she met Mr. Williams back in 2012, and they had a little something going on. Mr. Williams tries to downplay it, claiming it was just twice, and that's it. No relationship. But Ms. Mellerson says there was more going on, especially since he was also seeing someone else. Judge Lake reminds them it only takes one time to make a baby, and that's why he's here. But hold on, the awkward phone number drama is about to kick off next.
2012, and from there, it just began with our relationship.
Your Honor, it was never a relationship.
It was a sexual relationship, first of all.
We had sex twice.
This man right here, I don't know what he's trying to cover up. It doesn't matter how many times we left the house.
We only had sex twice.
Here's where things get a little awkward and a lot confusing. Ms. Mellerson says she told Mr. Williams she was pregnant and that her ex might be the father. Mr. Williams remembers it differently, saying they agreed to do a test, but then, poof, she changed her phone number and ghosted him. Ms. Mellerson admits she changes her number a lot, which leads to a whole lot of he said, she said, and just when you think that's enough, we're about to hear why Mr. Merritt found out way late.
I told him that it was a possibility of my ex being my child's father.
I told her we need to get a test and everything. She said, okay. After she mentioned that to me, she didn't even have the same number. I never knew where she lived at. So how was I? And she never called me either.
Honestly, you gotta hand it to Mr. Merritt for how he's dealing with this mess. He says he really hopes he's the dad because the baby looks like him, especially those cheeks and forehead. He talks about how he didn't have his dad growing up and he wants to be there for Chelsea no matter what. Judge Lake gives him props for stepping up and wanting to take responsibility. But hold on, because here comes Mr. Williams' girlfriend to stir the pot.
I really didn't have my father in my life like I wanted him to, like he was supposed to be. I felt like, you know, every child deserved to have a father and a mother in his life. So I just want to, you know, be there for her regardless, even if she's mine or not.
Baby pictures of you.
Yeah, man, got the cheeks and everything.
Now this is where things get spicy. Mr. Williams' girlfriend, Ms. Baldwin, comes in hot, saying she actually reached out to Ms. Mellerson on Facebook after hearing about this whole baby situation. She says Ms. Mellerson told her she had already done a DNA test and claimed the baby was light-skinned like the dad. Ms. Mellerson, of course, denies the whole thing, saying they hadn't finished the test yet. But wait, Judge Lake is about to drop some serious advice and you won't want to miss it.
Her first message was, do I know you? And from that point, I let her know, you and I may know the same person, Stacey Williams. It was brought to my attention that you two may have a baby together, and I don't condone an absent parent. I don't mind helping you. This is everything I said to her.
This is when Judge Lake lays down some serious truth, and it's actually pretty refreshing. She tells Ms. Mellerson that she's proud of her for trying to break the cycle of paternity drama. Judge Lake gives her credit for standing up for her kid and trying to figure out the truth, but she also warns her that communication is key, and she needs to stop having these serious talks over Facebook. Get ready, because the moment we've all been waiting for is coming. The DNA results.
Because this can't keep happening.
Right.
At some point, a mother has got to stand up and take that stuff for her child. Whatever it is, the shame, the embarrassment. You also dealt with paternity issues in your own life.
Right.
And I know you don't want that for your child.
Oh boy, here we go. The moment of truth for Mr. Williams.
It has been determined by this court that Mr. Williams, you are not the father.
Things are already getting wild as we find out there are 3 possible dads in this case. Miss Smith kicks things off by saying she's got 3 men who could be the father of her 1-year-old daughter, Tamia. She admits her life's a mess right now and just hopes it doesn't mess up her daughter's future. The judge makes it clear we're gonna need paternity tests to sort out this tangled situation.
You love your 1-year-old daughter, Tamia, and say you're hoping your mistakes don't ruin her life. Now, at this moment, you claim she has 3 possible fathers. You've requested results of multiple paternity tests to determine who her one biological father is.
Okay, hold up. Miss Smith spills that she had an 8-year affair with Mr. Bailey while she was married. That's right, 8 years of sneaking around with her ex-boyfriend while trying to keep her marriage together. Mr. Bailey tries to act cool. Yeah, he eventually admits they were hooking up the whole time.
8-year relationship. Throughout the whole 8 years, we've messed around.
So this has been a long-term
time
during your marriage.
It wasn't a relationship.
He's my soulmate sexually.
So you're denying it, but you're here in this courtroom.
I injured my knee while I was in Iraq, so I came home early. I was looking for somewhere to stay.
Here's where it gets straight up ridiculous. Miss Smith claims they had intimate violence in every house they looked at while searching for a place to live. Mr. Bailey tries to call her a liar, but Miss Smith doubles down, saying they couldn't even get keys to a place without hooking up. The judge is just trying to keep everyone calm, but it's clear things are already spiraling out of control. control.
Every time we got a key, we had sex.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yes, that's very much true.
To understand that there's a possibility that you're Tamia's father.
She had sex with a lot of men that could be possible father.
That's not true. Not at all. He's always been my go-to guy, and I'm his go-to girl.
Somebody in the hall waiting on.
Daughter, and he's
it's a man in the hallway who took a DNA test.
If you thought things couldn't get more insane, Miss Smith now says she slept with 2 guys during the time she got pregnant. She doesn't even blink as she admits Mr. Bailey was one of them, and their fling had been going strong for 8 years. And guess what? Mr. Bailey still says he's not sure if he's the dad.
How many men did you sleep with during the window of conception?
2. Me and Mr. Bailey been sleeping together 8 years. We're not gonna stop. My daughter looks like this man.
No, she doesn't. But the simple fact of the matter is, she told my wife that she had multiple partners.
Wait a minute, this woman ain't never had a conversation.
Miss Smith,
until I told her that she was my baby daddy.
Miss Smith, if I can't hear your case, it's no sense of you talking.
Okay.
Enter Mr. Anderson, the guy Miss Smith hooked up with for one night. He strolls into the courtroom and get this, he's like, yeah, we slept together, but I can't be the dad because I've got leukemia. He says his doctor told him he might not even be able to have kids, so he's convinced it's not him.
Glad to see you're well.
Yeah, I take chemo pills, and my doctor told me that if I did have children, that they'd have severe birth defects if I could have kids at all. That's my reasoning for thinking that the baby.
Miss Smith reveals that her husband is the one listed on Tamia's birth certificate. Apparently, her husband stepped up and took care of the baby for the first 7 months. But now, Mr. Bailey is throwing shade, saying she tried to pin another kid on him before. This drama is nonstop, and it's about to get even messy.
Who's on the birth certificate?
My husband. He was there. This man was too scared to step up to his responsibility.
Because you told 5 people that was
this
daddy.
woman right here.
My
So the
relationship
point
don't have
is
anything to do with
Mr.
this.
Bailey has doubt. Is there any possibility that there could be any other guy that could be the father?
No, ma'am.
Oh yeah, here comes Mrs. Bailey, and she's not surprised at all. She straight up admits that she knew her husband was messing around with Miss Smith, and even says they all lived together at one point, while both women were pregnant. Mrs. Bailey calls Miss Smith ungrateful, while Miss Smith snaps back. It's a full-on verbal brawl.
I mean, after the fact, she told me. She sent me a message on Facebook and told me that it was a possibility he could be the father. Me, her, him, all us stayed together.
Yeah, she
while both of us
that's why I
were
feel like
pregnant.
she's ungrateful. She is ungrateful.
Hold on.
The results are in, and it's official.
It has been determined that the biological father is Mr. Bailey.
Thank you.
Things kick off with a bang in this wild paternity mess. Mr. Johnson comes in ready to prove he's not the dad of Ms. Davenport's 3-year-old daughter, Malaya, even though he's been slapped with child support. He and his fiancée are convinced Ms. Davenport is dragging him into this for no reason, especially since another guy has already been called the dad. Ms. Davenport isn't backing down though, saying she knows Johnson is the father.
Mr. Johnson, you are here today to prove that you are not the biological father of the defendant's 3-year-old daughter, Malaya. You and your fiancé say Ms. Davenport is putting you on child support even though she already confirmed another man is the biological father.
Oh, here comes the first big twist. The kid calls someone else daddy. Ms. Davenport casually drops the bomb that Malaya calls her current boyfriend daddy, even though Mr. Johnson is supposedly the biological father. This whole situation just got a lot more confusing, as now the child's got a different idea of who her dad is. Things are heating up, but hold tight, it's gonna get even spicier.
Who does Malaya think is her dad now? Because she's 3.
My current boyfriend right now. Because he's been there before I was pregnant. He was at the hospital with her. And
He was there when you were pregnant?
Yes.
Was he there before you got pregnant?
No.
What was the nature of your relationship?
Worked at a job together, and everything was copacetic at first until like years later, I started noticing infidelity, a lot of lies.
Social media drama incoming. Mr. Johnson reveals he didn't even hear about Malaya's birth from Ms. Davenport. He found out through Facebook. Ms. Davenport posted pictures with another guy, calling him daddy while in the hospital with the baby, which really messed with Mr. Johnson's head. No wonder he's confused, right? But hang on, this drama's just getting started. Next up, some juicy cheating accusations.
he only, because after I had the baby, I posted pictures on Facebook, Chris and Malaya, saying that he was a dad.
Oh, this is what you put on
Yes.
social media? Daddy and Malaya.
She did. She just don't want to speak on it, but basically we were in contact. She said that she would let me know when Malaya was born.
And I
didn't
did
find
not
out
let him
until
know.
the next following day on social media through everybody else and family members.
Oh boy, it's about to get even more awkward. Ms. McIver, that's Johnson's fiancée, steps up and accuses Ms. Davenport of sending spicy pictures and flirty texts to Johnson while he's with her. It's messy, it's dramatic, and honestly, it's a lot. The tension in the room is sky high, and the accusations keep flying. Just when you think this case couldn't get more dramatic, here comes a a shocker involving a wild favor story.
Ms. McIver, what did you say?
Yeah, she'll send him pictures of her in her lingerie, send her pictures of what she done cooked for dinner, talking about some, oh, you wish a girl could cook like this.
Melissa was texting me all the time.
And you were calling him all day, all night, talking about it's about the baby at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Hold on, texting at 3 o'clock in the morning, sending pictures of
calling,
lingerie?
Texting. From the get-go, it was drama.
Okay, things just went from messy to what the heck is happening here. Mr. Johnson straight up claims Ms. Davenport wanted him to do certain favors. You know what I mean? In exchange for letting him see Malaya. Ms. Davenport calls it all a big fat lie, but seriously, how did we even get here? And if you thought that was shocking, just wait until you hear what happened in a parked car. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Someone that's in her life regularly?
As much as possible, but not regularly, because of course Tiffany, every time she gets upset or every time her and her boyfriend are at good terms with each other, I can't get my daughter. Because I know he feels insecure because it was a situation where Tiffany set it up where she wanted me to have sex with her in order to see my child.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
That's not true because you called my phone back in October and said y'all had sex in my car.
Yup, you read that right, folks. Both Ms. Davenport and Mr. Johnson admit to hooking up in Ms. McIver's car. It's like a soap opera in here. The courtroom is shook, and Judge Lake's face says it all. She's clearly disappointed. This is just messy beyond belief, and if you thought that was crazy, next we dive into how this circus is affecting the kids.
And they end up having sex in your car?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Your Honor.
Is that true, Ms. Davenport?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that true, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
But that was her stipulation. He couldn't, she texted his phone and told him he could not see her daughter unless she had sex with her.
They are lying, Your Honor.
I was just trying to be a stand-up guy at the end of the day.
Oh, you was trying to be a stand-up guy.
Now we get to the part that pulls at your heartstrings. Ms. McIver, remember, she's Johnson's fiance, talks about how this whole mess is hurting their other kids, who think of Malaya as their little sister. The kids are confused, upset, and wondering where their sister is, which is just heartbreaking. It's clear that this drama is affecting everyone involved, but buckle up because the moment of truth, DNA results, are about to drop.
I mean, you all have developed a relationship with this baby. She may not call you daddy, but
my daughters call her sister. My daughters still, when they say yo-yo, my daughters are being affected because they look at Malaya like.
And have you considered, if I'm not the biological father, what then will you tell the children?
So I just want the crazy dysfunction and yo-yoing to stop because it's affecting my kids.
All right, here it is, the big reveal we've all been waiting for. The DNA results come in, and surprise, surprise.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are the father.
Told you. No.